during the period of World War II, the United Kingdom faced a shortage of resources. After the Dunkirk evacuation, they were distressed to see 300,000 unarmed soldiers. In addition to stepping up the import of raw materials to start production, the resource-strapped United Kingdom had to tighten their belts. As a result, we saw the various makeshift weapons produced by the United Kingdom at that time. Prior to this, we introduced the British Buffalo series of armoured vehicles. These were temporary vehicles constructed by the UK using concrete instead of armoured plates. Their purpose was to protect airports and engage in combat with German paratroopers planning to seize airports. Today, we are introducing another type of armoured vehicle with a similar function, which is the Armadillo armoured vehicle. Compared to the Buffalo with concrete armor, the Armadillo armored vehicle's protective ability was about the same. It was also a makeshift equipment, and the two vehicles were not much different in terms of firepower, protection, and mobility. The Armadillo armored vehicle basically had two versions. The original MKI was made from civilian double-axle trucks. In the early stages of World War II, the UK could not waste precious military trucks on this type of domestic defensive equipment. The factory directly welded thin steel plates to protect the engine compartment and driver's cab. The front of the vehicle had an air intake, while the driver's cab had observation windows and access doors. This type of protection was only effective against light weapons, but as resources became less scarce, the protection area was increased. The main area of the armored vehicle was the combat compartment set up on the separate deck of the cargo box. This compartment did not occupy the entire cargo box deck, only the front half, in order to reduce material consumption and weight. This combat compartment was an open-topped armored box, with 3-inch thick wooden boards on the outer and inner sides, filled with sand and gravel between the two layers of wood. The firing windows were protected by 22 mm thick steel plates on the outside, but the protected area was too small. The Buffalo armored vehicle generally used 150 mm thick concrete armor, with 3 metal nets installed in the concrete walls for stability. This type of protection was definitely very limited. Although the Armadillo armored vehicle had 22 mm thick external armor on the firing windows, the protection in other areas was not that great. It should be able to withstand simple attacks from light weapons, but repeated bullet strikes would likely cause it to collapse. There were firing windows around the combat compartment, and a machine gun could also be mounted and fired from the open top. For the German paratroopers lacking heavy weapons, the structure of the Armadillo armored vehicle was indeed a difficult problem. It only needed to be maneuvered to the required location to become a small makeshift fortress, with a typical crew of 4 to 6 people. After the situation eased slightly, the UK began to more carefully modify the Armadillo armored vehicle. The Mk3 version reduced the size of the combat compartment, leaving a larger area on the rear deck of the vehicle. The British took out the stock of World War I 37mm rapid-fire guns and installed them here, along with a gun shield, greatly enhancing the Armadillo armored vehicle's anti-infantry capability. Although the installed armor provided protection for the Armadillo, it also greatly increased the burden on the chassis. As a result, all Armadillo armored vehicles had very slow driving speeds, difficult steering, and poor off-road capabilities. Fortunately, the Armadillo was used for airport defense, so it did not need to consider off-road capabilities, just the ability to move on flat terrain.